Yo, plant-based diet. Why plant-based diet? Why ethical veganism? Well, it just basically makes the most sense. I mean, if you don't have to kill anything to survive, then why would you want to do that? We know that animals want to sustain life. Now, next time you're driving down the road, you look out in the pasture and you see some really happy cows grazing on grass, or you see, a fun mallard duck and her mate bobbing in the rice field, and you say to yourself, why do I want to kill that life to eat it when it's not necessary to sustain my life? I used to believe that it's necessary to take life to give life. And it is in terms of plant life. You do have to eat plant life in order to sustain your life. But the common misconception, I believe, in our society is that something must give its life, its sentient life, in order for us to sustain our life. And that is wrong. That is not accurate. I've been living on plants for over a year and a half now, and have become an ethical vegan. I no longer even fish. I will not fish because I believe that fishing causes fish to feel pain and suffering. And honestly, I wouldn't want to have a hook in my mouth and be eaten. So, think about this concept. What if a more superior developed race came to Earth and saw us like we see the cows and said, well, we are superior in thought. These humans, they're not thinking straight. They are very inferior to us. So we should use them for food sustenance because it doesn't really, it's a good source of protein. So we'll go ahead and do that. So then they start to eat us. Okay? I mean, put yourself in that situation where you're going to be raised to be eaten. It just, doesn't make any sense. You wouldn't want to be eaten. Why do you want the cow to be eaten? So just go ahead and eat a plant-based diet and stop killing things when you don't need to kill them. Or, if you really want to earn my respect as far as being a eater of animals, I think it'd be really awesome if you did your own slaughter. Because then at least the sacrifice that's been given for you to eat that sustenance. If you can go out and do your own slaughter, process your own meat, and have a educated conversation about omnivorism and talk about why you think omnivorism is a necessity to sustain human life, then I'm going to go ahead and respect you and have a really great conversation with you. But if you're going down to In-N-Out, buying some hamburger, eating some meat, going to the grocery store, cooking up some meat, you don't know where your meat's coming from. You don't know what that animal gave. So you could have a little bit of meat just because it tastes good. Fruit tastes good too. Fruit doesn't run away from me when I try to eat it. If I go up and I, try to hurt a cow, it's not going to be good, right? they're going to run away. They don't want to be around that. Think about when I've sheared sheep in my life. You go up and you try to get the sheep. They don't want you to come near them because they're scared. Their heart rate gets all jacked up, and it's just not good. You know, they have fear. They don't want to be hurt. They don't want to be injured. They just want to live their life. Same way as you want to live your life with freedom. We're able to do that. So, you know, think about it. Next time you're eating some animal products, you know, think about it. Not necessarily cheese and eggs. So unfertilized eggs, that's really not a big deal because they're unfertilized eggs. They never had a chance to become an animal. So there's no, in my opinion, if the animal was treated in a just way, then that's fine. That's ethical. And I think you can have ethical dairy as well. I believe there's a way to do that. Now, some people would disagree with me and they'd be like, well, you're keeping the animal in captivity and you're not letting them celebrate the chickenness of their chicken and be free and run around. And see, here's where I disagree with that. So you have your chicken and you let it run around free, and 2 days later the coyote ate it, and now it's dead when you could have been a protector and a provider for that chicken. So it doesn't really make any sense. The same way you'll hear vegans say, oh, well, don't eat honey because you're stealing honey from the bees. You know, you're stealing the bees' food. Well, here's the deal. If you don't take honey out of the bees' hive during the springtime and they get too much honey, they're going to swarm out and they're going to leave. So better to take some honey, maybe store it, make sure you have enough to feed back from them in the winter, and if there's any left over, then you can share that life and sugar from them. Share that nectar, that processed nectar. What a lot of vegans don't understand, or I think they just don't have been exposed to, is that without beekeepers, European honeybees would be endangered. Beekeepers keep bees alive, and it's very difficult to keep bees alive, and they need our help right now. And part of that help is taking their honey away when they don't have any more room to store it, so they don't fly away and get killed in the elements, because we want them to stay in the hive so we can take care of them. All right? So consider ethical veganism. Consider ethical vegetarianism. Just put that thoughts out there. Just because you eat meat doesn't make you a bad person. And also, just because I'm thinking that it's unethical to eat meat at this point in my life doesn't mean that you can't talk to me and tell me why it is ethical to eat meat. So let's start the conversation. Let's start the conversation, because I'm not one of those people that is just going to be like, you're wrong. Why don't you talk to me about it? I'm telling you it's unethical to eat that steak tonight, because that was a happy cow. You tell me why I'm wrong. All right. We'll talk to you later.